Before we get started caping this buck, there's a few really important factors I'd like to cover because they make a huge difference in how that trophy comes out. The first is how you gut that animal. So when you gut that animal, particularly if you have to gut it the night before or the day before, as we did in this case, be sure to only gut it to about the end of the rib cage, if not even a little more conservative to the back. As you can see, we stopped our cut about mid-body. That's to preserve all of this brisket and cape that we're going to need for the taxidermist. That's the first trick. Today I'm using the Outdoor Edge Pro system, the Game Pro. It's got a number of different knives in the set. I'm going to use several of them, and I'll go through kind of when and where I shift on those. But the first one I'm going to use is actually their gutting knife. It's also a skinner. And a lot of hunters will use the gut part of the knife blade to gut their animal, and that's great for that, but it also is great for making these circular body cuts. I put some blue tape on here where we're going to make our cut lines today. So the first important cut is this midsection cut. So again, start back here. You're going to make a perfectly circular cut around the back of the animal. As you can see, we've made our first cut, the ring completely around the animal, again behind the last rib, giving plenty of skin for the taxidermist to work with. Our next cut's now on the legs. So you're going to start right here. You're going to work right up that seam, following it all the way through. And then as you get into the sort of the elbow, if you will, the joint of the deer's leg here, you're going to then turn and go up and follow. There's a pretty good definition between the white belly hair and that. And you're going to make a straight cut until you just have a straight line all the way up to your center cut. For these cuts, I want a very sharp knife so that my cuts are very precise, very minimal work for the taxidermist to do. For this, I'm going to use the Razor Light. It's a replaceable blade knife, super sharp. This is a 3-inch blade, perfect for the task. So we make the cuts from the midsection down. We're going to come back and ring these legs. We're going to follow that line right up here to the elbow, basically the joint of the deer here. And there's another hairline coming up that separates this white brisket hair from the brown body hair. We're going to use that same line and come up as straight as we can to this center point, and we're going to follow it on the same side. So we made all of our cuts, all the cuts we need to make. Next part is peeling the hide down. Now, key here is to leave as minimal meat on the hide as possible. That'll just make the work easier for you skinning it and also the taxidermist. The key to keeping the hide as clean and free of meat as possible is really how you get started. And you really want to keep that skin and your blade close to the skin, separating the meat, keeping the meat on the carcass. Gets a little trickier as you get to the neck, but it's pretty easy on the hide. One tip that'll really help you speed up this process is as you start to get some hide to work with, get your hand underneath it, cup it, grip it pretty hard, and keep tension, really tight tension on this, and that allows you to really make progress. Each time you make a cut, you'll actually get more gain with your knife. So it's just something to keep in mind, is the more and more tension you can put on it, the faster and more precise you can be. Once you get down to where the shoulder meets the leg, I find it easier to get kind of crossways with the animal in such a way that I can pull this way and make lateral long cuts. It allows you to really make some gain quickly on these cuts. Same on the inside. Staying lengthwise with the leg makes it the easiest. And then once you get down to the very end of this leg cut, you can actually just pop it off and using your hand, just pull it down. All right, now we're going to make our belly flap cut down. If the deer's front legs are still on it, I like to actually just kind of put it between my legs. It makes the animal stay stationary and kind of gives you a secure workstation. So we've got our skins down to the base of the neck. We've got a little bit more of the neck to take care of. One thing we want to make sure we do is leave at least 6 to 8 inches of the neck so that the taxidermist can take that key measurement to make sure he picks the right form for your trophy. Okay folks, this is the finished product we're looking for. Got about 8 inches of the neck still intact so the taxidermist can take the measurements they need. Got a nice clean cape, so minimal work for your taxidermist. Final step is simply to remove the head. Get a knife, cut through all the tissue you can. Use a bone saw, hacksaw, whatever you have. After that, simply take it directly to your taxidermist if you can, or put it in the freezer. But at the very least, keep it cold, because you don't want that hair to slip after all that hard work. So next time you harvest that buck of a lifetime, just know you can do it as well.